Florida sports fans, welcome back to Verbal Warning. I'm your host, Big Verb, aka Scale_Nation on Twitter. And we have big news. We have news that's gonna shape up and probably give us an insight on what the Dolphins are looking at as far as what they're being proposed in the trade for Dashaun Watson. A lot of people are saying that it's completely absurd, but we're going to go into what they're offering or what they're asking for and what the Dolphins situation is looking like and how that can benefit the Dolphins in which ways. Now, what's being reported by the Draft Network is that the Texans want the Dolphins' number 3 overall pick, which is theirs originally. They want the 18th pick, which is the Dolphins, and they want the 2022 first overall pick, and also they want the third round pick from this year's draft. So they want the third overall, the 18th, and the third round pick that the Dolphins possess from this year's draft. And then in 2022 they want the first round pick. Who knows what numeric order that might fall in, but they also want players. They want Tua Tagovailoa, and they want the Dolphins All-Pro, Pro Bowl cornerback Xavier Howard. Now, that's not nothing specific that they're asking for, but they're saying that's pretty much the price, seeing what Matthew Stafford went for in that Jared Goff rumble that they just made happen. I think the Dolphins are in a pretty good situation as far as this goes. They're not in a situation where they need to make this move, but now you can look at it a lot of different ways, and I'm gonna give you my perspective, and I'm also going to look at it from how things can go, and then I'm also going to look at it from how the Dolphins shape up in this situation. Now, we'll start off from how they shape up. Now, originally, you got to remember, the Dolphins have to trust the scout department. They got a lot of good guys in that department, a lot of guys that might be up for GM positions if this thing lands right. They could lose some guys next year, nevertheless, if the trade goes through or not, depending on how many picks they land or how many players that they pick that are successful in this year's draft. Now, you got to remember, the Dolphins drafted Noah Ibenagami from the University of Auburn in the first round. He wasn't the first player taken, but he was the only defensive player that they took in the first round of the draft. So listen closely and think about this now. If the Dolphins trust their scouting department and believe that Noah's going to become a standout player, not just an awesome player, but a first-round caliber player, then letting go Xavier Howard won't be too much to ask for. Now, swapping out Dashaun Watson for Tua to me personally is the inevitable. You might have to let that go to get Dashaun. Now, that third overall pick. Now, this is where this kind of troubles me. If you give that third overall pick to the Texans, it'll put you in a situation where you don't really have control anymore when it comes to this trade or when it comes to having power in the draft. Now, if the Dolphins want to have power in the draft, they just say, hey, look, the third overall pick's off the table. If that's what we got to go through to get this done, then we'll pass. And that's pretty much what I would do. To get a player like Dashaun Watson, which is a transcending player, you probably have to make a move like that. So I'm saying the third overall pick, the 18th pick, the third round pick, all that from this draft, along with an all-pro Pro Bowl corner like Xavier Howard, that's a lot to ask for. But Dolphins, you got to put yourself in a position. If you want to know for sure what you have, which is Dashaun Watson, you guaranteeing yourself at least 3,200 yards. You guaranteeing yourself a general on the offensive end of the ball. You also guaranteeing yourself a transcending quarterback for the next 5 years or maybe more, maybe 10. You never know. It depends on how the relationship goes. But you have to put in consideration the talent that this kid has. I'm thinking what they're asking for as far as them 2 first-round picks, the first round from next year, the third round. They also sending us back a fourth. I think personally I would take it. I would go for it because I think you draft Noah, you still have your 2 second-round picks. You got Dashaun Watson. You know what your quarterback position is looking like. You can go offense. If you go on offense, you got to take it. If you go on offense in the second round, if you go on offense with your first pick, rather it's the first or the second. If everybody's saying go get Devontae Smith. If you know for a fact that you think you go on offense with your first pick, rather it be first round, and whenever you go on that clock, if you're going to pick an offensive player, you got to make this move. You got to make this move. You got to make this move. If you go on defense or if you're going best player available, then you can wait. Because remember, the first pick of the second round, your first pick of the second round, you're still going to have a good offensive lineman there. It's still going to be the cream of the crop as far as running backs. and there's still some good wide receivers there. I'm not gonna go over project players or give you a mock of who they should pick. I'm thinking that this is what they're asking for as far as Dashaun Watson. A healthy Dashaun Watson, 2 second-round picks. You get day 4th. You got 2 in the second, 2 in the 4th. You got your 5th. You got a couple of mixing up in there. And then next year you got to go in your second round and start off your game. But you got Dashaun Watson. I'm saying go for it, fans. But if you don't go for it, you still remember you got to still trust your scouting department to hit on these picks. And remember, Xavier Howard, he's gonna cause a little turbulence this offseason. We know that for sure with all these accolades that he's receiving, the season that he had, this who we was dealing with. He's gonna have some turbulence out of him. I think you send him home to Texas. You get Dashaun Watson, guys. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know how you feel about it, like you always do. I'm Big Verb. I'm bringing it to you bright and early. The Texans have put a number out there as well. It's swirling around because they know it's hard to get in contact with Dashaun. They got to do something. Fans, let me know what you think. If this is your first time checking out the channel, like and subscribe. Verbal warning. Love.